Costume analyses always seem to centre around clothes, but what about the hats? Hello and welcome to a millinery hat commentary video. My name is Ilona, I am a milliner based in London, and today I thought we'd take a look at the best hat looks from the television series The Marvelous Mrs Maisel. I believe that the hat principles we are about to look at are universal, and if we read between the lines, these mid-century vintage style principles can still be applied today for modern looks. Don't forget to like, subscribe and click the notification bell for more millinery antics. Let's get our costume critique hats on and get started. Before we begin, I would like to give you some context about the hats we are about to analyse. This TV show is set in the late 1950s and early 1960s in affluent New York in America, and is of course fictional. In the context of this being a TV show, the narrative can be emphasised using the costumes that the actors wear. In the case of the principal lead, Midge Maisel, played by Rachel Brosnahan, the clothes are a key part of her identity. She uses them to prepare for situations she will find herself in. The costume designer Donna Zakowska uses a strict colour palette to signify the emotions that Midge is going through.
Take this occasion to say...
For Midge, light pink was for when she was living her pre-divorce life and naive about all the problems in her marriage to Joel. She seems to wear pink when she's confused about life. It seems to be her go-to colour when she doesn't know what is going on. A bolder, darker pink returned later in the series for what Donna Zakowska calls the post-Joel pink. This is to signify Midge starting to get over Joel and using the darker shades of pink to take back control over her favourite colour. The show starts with Midge in a monochromatic look, wearing a light pink swing coat, raspberry fitted dress and burgundy gloves. Her hat is a sewn velvet toque. I like to think of a toque hat as a fitted pillbox. Midge wears this burgundy hat at a jaunty angle. If you are looking to create such a look for yourself, here are some pointers. Start with the accessories: hats, gloves, scarves, shoes, bags. These should be at the darker end of the colour scale. Then your main garment should be the lightest. In Midge's case, that is her swing coat, but in the warmer months, this could also be a dress. And then whatever element is left to wear would be the mid-tone. As for what shape of hat to wear with such a look, anything goes, as this shape of coat is very versatile. What is important here is texture. With woolly coats, heavier textured fabrics are best. That's why the choice of Midge's velvet toque works so well with her textured wool coat. Midge re-wears this same hat with a raspberry wool pencil dress and matching cropped jacket. I think this reinforces the idea that this style of a plain shaped toque can be worn with any outfit as long as the heavy textures match. Midge repeats this dressing approach in season 2 when once again she doesn't know what is going on and Joel is involved. This time her accessories are mid-tone, her coat is still the lightest garment and her dress is the darkest tone. Her hat is a draped felt toque, once again a great everyday style that will work with almost any shape of dress or coat. What if you have a pink dress but don't have a matching pink hat? Well, Midge solves this problem by wearing a navy sewn straw beret with a light pink satin dress. Navy and pink is a timeless classic combination which is super easy to wear and very relevant to today. The bow at the dress neckline is mirrored in the centre front of the hat. What's more, the standing collar mirrors the standing sides of the beret. The shiny dress texture is also echoed in the shiny straw texture. I thought we should have a quick look at an example of Midge wearing a brighter, hotter pink in her post-Joel era. Here she is wearing a shocking pink cropped jacket paired with a navy pencil skirt. She has obviously got a matching hat, but interestingly her gloves and bag are a more coral red tone, which I'll be honest wouldn't be my go-to colour combination, but the suede textures in these accessories work with the soft look of the fabric in her jacket and skirt. But what about the hat? Isn't it glorious? It's a standard bowler crown with a Breton brim. This type of brim is characteristically upturned at the front to give a framing effect to the face. Also, notice how the brim is significantly shorter at the back. This is to make it comfortable to wear, as a longer brim would hit you on your shoulders every time you turned your head. This particular Breton hat is made using sewn Milan straw in a navy colour to match Midge's pencil skirt. The trim is a shocking pink flat bow at the very centre front of the upturned brim. Now, you might think that with the asymmetric closure on the jacket, the trim of the hat should have been placed asymmetrically also. However, the choice to put the trim centrally was very deliberate, so as to balance out the jacket's off-centre statement closure. This way the whole ensemble doesn't look lopsided and drooping to one direction. One last pink look here. This is when we jump forward in time to 1985. This is from later on in Midge's life, when it seems that she's back together with Joel. However, she is now sticking to wearing bright pinks and no more pastels. Here, Midge wears a pink suit, which looks very 80s with the padded shoulders, blingy gold buttons and giant bullion applique roses. The hat is a casual beret style, which is actually more of a raspberry tone compared to the hot pink of the suit. In some of my previous videos, I have received comments saying that even though I have recommended that hat colours should match clothing colours exactly, I myself don't always have the exact match. I'd like to clarify why this is and in what situations it's best to have a matchy-matchy hat and when is it okay to have a close enough match. It's all about the context to where you will be wearing your hat. For non-formal occasions, I think it's okay to have a hat that is close to but maybe not an exact same colour as the rest of your outfit. For example, Midge is at synagogue for a non-formal religious service. She's wearing an outfit that she already has and probably didn't buy specifically for this one service. In my John Boyd hats video, viewers noticed that the emerald green in my bubble beret didn't exactly match the salad green in my dress collar. I think that's okay because it was a casual day out and not a new outfit that I specifically commissioned for this day. But for a formal occasion such as a coronation or a royal wedding, which were the subjects of my previous analysis videos, of course it's lovelier when the hat and dress are perfectly matching, because the chances are that you have money to spend and you are putting together a completely new outfit that you haven't worn before. So, long story short, my recommendations for formal event hats will sometimes be contradictory to my advice for wearing casual hats. Nothing is black and white. There are no such thing as rules, just rough guidelines.
This isn't a standing job. It's a sitting job.
Huh. Explain.
Speaking of picking outfits based on the occasion, Midge is spot on here. A sitting job needs a sitting outfit. She is wearing a plaid three-quarter circle skirt with what is either a denim, corduroy or suede jacket and a matching sewn doughboy hat. She has accessorized with a neck scarf and a matching red handbag. This is clearly a hat that is so casual that it is meant to be taken off when you take off the jacket. I would put most sewn hats into this category. A sewn hat is a hat that is made using normal fabric and is made up using pattern pieces, just like when sewing clothes. If you want to get into hat wearing and don't know where to start, sewn pattern hats are a nice accessible route into the world of hats. There are plenty of hat patterns available online for you to try. Do let me know in the comments if you'd like to see me give this a go.
Your shoes match your purse. How does that happen?
Witchcraft.
Midge wears purple for confidence when pink would be a little too delicate. At her first court appearance, we see her in a voluminous Jack Fat coat, which she borrows from her mother, Rose. Midge completes her outfit with a clamshell-style hat in the same fabric as her swing coat. The drapes of the fabric around the shoulders and arms are recreated in the clamshell waves of the hat. As this coat is quite puffy, it makes sense that the hat is also puffy. I think this outfit would not be complete without this hat, as the volume of the coat would take over the whole look. You don't see this style of hat around much at the moment. It seems to be a forgotten style, but I think it is so pretty and elegant that it should make a comeback. I think in the right fabric it would make a fabulous evening cocktail hat. When questioned about her overly elegant outfit, Midge says, "I dress for the occasion," implying that feeling elegant is what brings her confidence. I think this is great dressing advice. Think about what would make you feel comfortable, not about what you are expected to wear in a certain situation. Midge has dressed in something that makes her feel comfortable and protected. I guess you could look at this as her version of power dressing. Continuing with the purple theme, I thought we'd look at an outfit that works equally well at the theatre as it does for a nightclub and a late night visit to a greasy spoon. Midge is wearing a purple textured silk dupion dress with a swirly hat in the matching fabric. I actually have a hat block that gives a similar style to this, and I used it in this octopus hat video that I have linked to in the top right. Of course, going so matchy-matchy is only possible if you are having your dress made and the seamstress can save some fabric to give to your milliner for your matching hat. For those of you who sew, make sure you save your leftover fabric scraps, and perhaps I can encourage you to take up millinery to make matching hats for all your outfits. As for why this outfit works so well in a variety of settings, it's because it's a simple shape. A pleated fit and flare dress is easy to wear, and a hat without any embellishments complements those simple lines. Here's an unexpected way to wear purple by pairing it with bright red. I think this is a very brave and unexpected colour choice. Her hat is once again an asymmetric toque worn at an angle. It is paired with a dress in the same fabrics. This is a problem we are going to come up against again and again. In the real world, when putting together an outfit, we are generally limited to dresses that we can find in a shop or that are already in our wardrobes. Getting a hat made in exactly the same fabric is something that is generally available only to those of the financial means to have a dress made to order. If this isn't a possibility for you, I recommend picking up on the details of your dress and finding a hat in the colour of those details. For example, let's pretend Midge doesn't have a hat to match this dress. What could she do? This dress's main colour is purple, but it is trimmed with red at the hem, cuffs and neckline. So finding a bright red hat to match wouldn't be such a big problem. As for the shape of the hat, for an A-line fitted suit dress, I would recommend a sensible shaped hat to match the sensible shape of the dress. Apart from draped toques, you could go for a beret or a woolen turban. I think this is a fabulous hat. I wanted to include this one to show you the variety of hat shapes that can be made. It doesn't only have to be pillboxes, toques or halos. This is a fez style hat which was quite popular in the late 50s and early 60s.
It's a fez. I wear a fez now. Fezzes are cool.
It is an easy to wear casual style characterised by its tall sloping edges. Once again, Midge is wearing it with her usual pleated fit and flare dress. To me, it looks like this one is made by blocking a wool felt in the same colour as her dress. For such a plain shaped hat, a plain and simple trim of a thin leather bow works very well. You wouldn't want to over trim a simple hat like this. If we were to take away one key point from Midge's dressing, I think it would be that if you have a plain dress in a simple single block colour, a simple hat in that same colour will complete the look. This is a sentiment echoed by the show's costume designer Donna Zakowska. Without them, hats, many costumes were incomplete.
Where are you going?
To grab a hat.
No, don't, because it won't be just a hat.
Yes, it will.
Do not change your wardrobe. It's fine.
Just a hat.
It's never just a hat.
Some say blue and green should never be seen, but I disagree. Clearly, so does Midge. The costume designer intended blues and greens as signifiers of Midge's heroic independence. Midge is so often heroically independent that I don't have the time to go through all of these blue and green combinations to explain how and why they work. So here's my favourite. Midge is wearing a blue classic pencil skirt with a matching jacket and a green top. The buttons on the jacket are green, as is the straw on the Breton brim hat. Carrying those colour details through the suit trims is what ties this whole outfit together. Midge also combines blue with other colours. For a day out at Coney Island, she is wearing a pencil dress trimmed with a yellow bow belt. Her shoes are burgundy, which follows the burgundy stripe at the hem of her dress. All these colours are cleverly woven into her hat. The brim is made using sewn yellow crin and braid. The hat is the same pastel blue as her coat, and the trim is the same burgundy as her shoes. I really love the combination of the felt crown contrasting with the airiness of the crin in the brim and the rough texture of the yellow braid. This is by far Midge's most visually complex outfit of the whole show. If you wanted to apply these principles to a modern outfit, I suggest using 3 block colours in your whole outfit. Then contrast the textures between your dress and your hat. But what about blue by itself? On a day off from her tour, Midge is wearing a wide downward brim hat with a bowler crown. This hat is interesting for the material it is made out of. If we zoom in, you can see that the shape is made using rows of crin and Racello braid. This was a material that became more and more popular through the 60s. I should also mention that this is a great example of a hat not having to match the dress exactly. The dress is a vivid medium blue and the hat is a more desaturated shade of baby blue. The contrast of the super textured hat and the smooth dress is what creates the visual interest. I wouldn't recommend something like this here in London, as we do have a lot of overcast grey skies which would make this hat look dull and grey. But in the brightness of the Miami sun, this dull blue tone provides a visually cooling effect. Also, notice the large earrings poking out from under the hair. With a big hat like this one, big earrings are a must.
We're going to the Catskills!
To finish, I want to quickly mention a yellow look from Midge's wardrobe at the Catskills. Here she is wearing a chiffon floral print dress paired with a yellow hat. This style of hat is called an infinity hat, which was a popular casual style in the 1950s. And because it is a casual hat, Midge has paired it with a casual yellow rattan basket bag. This type of flat hat is great for traveling. It's really light and is more like a hair accessory rather than a proper hat. So perfect if you wanted something a little special to complete your outfit, but don't want to faff about with a hat for a long journey. I have made my own version of this style and dedicated a whole video to this, which I will link to in the top right.
I wore the wrong hat.
So what are the main takeaways from today's analysis? In a real-life context, colour can be a great way to set the tone for yourself depending on how you are feeling or want to feel. What colours give you confidence, or what colours are relaxing for you? As well as thinking about colours, take the time to think about the occasion where you will be wearing your hat. Is it a casual day out, or is it a special one-off event? Asking these questions will help you figure out what you are most comfortable in. And above all, remember to have fun. After all, that's what fashion is all about. I hope you've all had a fabulous time looking through the millinery of the character Midge from the TV show The Marvelous Mrs Maisel. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment about which look was your favourite. You can find me on all the socials listed here and sign up to my newsletter all about hats up here. Thank you all so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.